All right, I think we got everything sorted. Pretty good numbers today, by the way. I want to thank everyone for showing up. We got a little bit of a move today to do, but also we haven't had a war update in a long time. I wouldn't say a long time, a decent amount of time. And this is going to kind of double as our war update slash restage for a couple of ships slash any other thing we need to do that's housekeeping today. We're going to try and lump it all together. We've actually been looking for an excuse to have a coalition meeting because we want to announce some future plans, but you don't ever want to call a coalition meeting without doing something at the same time. So at least Initiative gave us that excuse, which is pretty nice. So now that we can actually do something and also announce some future plans, which I'm actually pretty excited about. Okay, so basically, goons are down to their last thing that they can reasonably spin about. A couple of weeks ago, they went on this big deal about their doom clock and how our strategy to save iHubs until that we could sign a jam systems in their keep stars was everything that mattered, and how it was stupid, and how they were going to put up this app to track all the iHub timers. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Someone can throw that in the sidebar. The Doom Clock app. And they were going to kill our iHubs before we could sign our jam systems, which was nice because then we just quickly pivoted to holding those iHubs, and for the most part, we've held them. We're going to lose one or two here or there, but for the past few weeks, we've mostly been focused on holding those iHubs while we clear out some other structures and kind of slow the pace down a little bit before we do this big last push. With goons not being able to really kill our iHubs, they really only have one thing left, and that is their staging 1DQ and their little Helm's Deep pocket of E3OI. They've once again pivoted. Now they don't talk about the Doom Clock that much anymore. A few weeks ago, it was pretty much the most important thing in this war. Now it's kind of another forgotten plan by Matani and them. So yeah, it's an extremely useful app. I mean, we use it all the time. I use it every day almost. So yeah, like now they're pretty much down to 1DQ and E3OI and Helm's Deep. And we've been steadily killing structures for the last few weeks. We've killed 2 Keep Stars under Sino-Jammers so far, 49U, and now Hicks. We've got Knoll coming up. And we've also gotten 2 additional Keep Stars because goons were kind enough to try to unanchor a couple of them, and obviously that's really difficult to do, and they learned the hard way. So we've been killing structures at a steady pace, and we're going to continue to do so, but probably the 2 toughest remaining battles of the war among the 2. I don't want to say the 2 toughest because you never know what's coming, but the 2 battles where we will be at our most tactical disadvantage in the war are coming up, and those are eventually going to be the battles to clear out the 1DQ iHub and the E3OI iHub. These goons have set these systems up with Sino jammers. They've got caps in the system already. It's going to be pretty complex. We took a shot at it last week when it didn't look like goons were formed up, and we had a form up going. We kind of spur of the moment said, well, hey, if they're not formed, let's just take a shot at it, see what happens, get a gauge of the the situation in there. Goons formed up pretty hard for it, and we were able to pretty easily extract, and now we kind of know what it's going to take to get into 1DQ and E3OI. And while we're holding our iHubs up, and getting these doom clocks slowly ticking down and killing Sodios and killing faction forts. I mean, I think we killed like 5 or 7 faction forts yesterday alone. Those battles are coming, and they're coming pretty soon. There's not much left to do in Delve other than to assault those fortresses. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a good battle. But it is going to be the situation where we're at our most tactical disadvantage there. So over the next, I don't want to give an exact timeline. I don't want to telegraph our move, but over the next month or 2, you can expect some more big battles on the level of the Keep Star drops that we did a couple of months ago. However, they will be different kinds of battles. Those Keep Star drops, I know a lot of you had a lot of fun just fucking nuking goon ships left and right and getting kill marks on your long range dreads and all of your ships, and that was great. But they were a little tedious. I would say these battles are going to be different. They're going to be actual fights, and they are going to be spread out over multiple grids, and probably a little less laggy than the FWST and YZ9 Keep Stars. So I would say they're probably going to be the best big battles that we've had in a while. I mean, every time you get 4,000, 5,000 in local, it's pretty amazing, but it does get a little laggy. These are going to be pretty good, I would say. Better than most. Because the nodes that 1DQ and E3OI are on are pretty great. We were in there last Monday, and there were 3 to 4,000 in local, and it was running extremely smoothly. Not even a 10% tie-dye, and it was almost up to over 3,000, I think. So those big battles coming up are going to be intense. They're going to be tough. They're going to be bloody, but they're going to be good, I would say, and definitely something to look forward to. In addition to that, goons, like I said, don't have much left, so they're kind of looking for other things to do, and kind of it seems like looking for the door. Um, Anytime your main lead FC is taking his sig and deploying away from the war and leading 30-man fleets instead of harassing us or doing anything to stop us from burning shit down, you're kind of burned out, and that's basically what happened. Asher's deployed his sig to catch, in addition to initiative, which you guys know about. And so goons are looking for other ways to kind of fuck with us, to kind of slow us down in any way possible. Initiative has a death clone deployment in Oshit, which is so that they can assault catch. Someone mute that guy. And when they did that move op, we went and poked Fountain a little bit, and rather than even attempt to defend Fountain, which is something they spent a lot of time retaking and building the infrastructure back up in, they pinged their guys to move all their assets and NPC stations and abandon Fountain. So they really do not want to be involved with this war anymore. They are looking to take the next step. They've always wanted to go back to Curse. This is something we've known. So they're briefly excited about this. Today we're going to move a staging over there and begin the process of crushing this deployment in its infancy, just like we did when Initiative tried to do their stupid Esoteria deployment. But the general thing to take away is that these guys are looking for any out, really, and they are starting to strain a good bit. So with the big battles coming up, and goons and initiative looking for any kind of opening, any spark that they can really get trying to poke at our edges, this is really the time to redouble our efforts and really push this thing through. It's not going to be over once we take the 1DQI up and E3OI hub. They're still going to have a lot of keep stars. The writing will be on the wall for them, and we do believe that you'll start to see some bleeding after that. Initiative's losing corpse at a pretty regular pace now. We think goons will start to do that too once they experience the same hopelessness that Initiative experienced a little while ago. But even once we clear those iHubs, there will still be some stuff to do. But I think we'll be past the most tactically difficult battles once we clear those iHubs up, and we can reasonably say we're in the driver's seat from that point. Still a lot of work to do, but at least we'll be in the driver's seat. And that's kind of what we meant when we say, we really want to push this through, and we're looking at being on the cusp of getting through this war to an extent. So we want to redouble our efforts. I'm going to reiterate what our stance is as far as death clones and jump clones and where ships should be and all that today, both for Legacy and for Test. Test is doing a little bit of a different move up from Legacy today. And, we know it's been a long war. I can say confidently now that all of you who've been here and been involved in this war in any capacity have now participated in the most intense, largest, bloodiest, ruthless war in EVE history. There's been wars that have been slightly longer. There's been wars that have involved pretty much as many alliances or as much of the game, but I don't think there's been anything to this fucking intensity. Um, so it's this is that I was there moment, that Eve talks about. You've all been a part of it. It's not been glamorous at times. It's there's been great battles. We've dunked goons repeatedly. We've lost sometimes. We've won many times more. Uh, but it is, it's been a long war now. And it's gonna go on for at least a couple more months. You know, Unfortunately or fortunately, but we do have some good battles coming up. We are pretty much in the driver's seat, and once we're past these last two tough battles, we'll definitely be in the driver's seat. And I can say with 100% confidence that this will end up being the biggest and most important war in Eve history. It dwarfs everything that I've been a part of, and I've been playing for 11 years, more than that actually. Shit. Um, and it is definitely lived up to the hype here. So being on the winning side of that, having put in the amount of effort we've had, we started out this war holding goons by attacking through regional gates with subcamps into their super fleets so that we could clear initiative out of Fountain while defending all of our own home space from goons incursions, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Then we built a 13 keep star chain to go all the way around their space and moved all of our supers and titans through. And we had to anchor 5 keep stars just to get one down in Delve, and we've killed trillions and trillions of ISK of their stuff. It's been pretty incredible, and it's something that I sometimes have. Sometimes I'll think about some of the stuff we did at the beginning of the war, and it seems like so long ago. It's amazing how much has transpired. And we're starting to get in view of the end of it, and once it's all said and done, you're going to be happy you were part of it. And I think I'm already pretty thrilled with the fact of what we've been able to achieve. So it's time to redouble our efforts, get through these last couple big fights, and then put in the work to get everything else cleared out. There's really not much too else to say about that. Like I said, this dynamic really isn't confusing. They've got 2 iHubs left that we need to clear out, and then we need to shit on initiatives, deployment, and catch. And there's really not much else to think about that. I can talk about post-war, though, or at least give you a little bit of a preview of it. We had an Alliance leadership meeting for Legacy yesterday. We've been having them for the past 2 months, trying to craft what will end up being our post-war stance. It's no secret to say that Legacy is, organizationally, there can be improvements made. Everyone can make improvements. There's definitely some pain points that we've learned about during this war. One of the good things to take away from this war, being the biggest war in Eve history, and will probably be the biggest war in Eve history for a while, is that the lessons we've learned from this war, we can apply them for quite a long time. We didn't know how our organizational structure would strain as this war went on. It was doing great for a while, and it's still doing fine. Everyone, including Goons and Initiative, are starting to strain a little bit from just the length of the war. And the lessons we're learning from this, we'll be able to apply and kind of reorganize Legacy going forward. We're not going to be able to do too much of it during the war, just because any drastic changes now would, kind of pause what we're able to do and kind of, take away from our combat effectiveness for a little bit. But we do have some things we can announce today that are pretty exciting, I think. Legacy will be taking Fountain, Delve Queries, and Period bases while maintaining all of the space that we currently hold. So we will be getting 4 full additional regions. Every single Legacy Alliance will be getting space in Delve, Aquarius, Period bases, and Fountain. We will be divvying it up as a coalition, and our intention there is to build a proper fortress and If goons have showed us one thing, it's that it is incredibly difficult to invade Delve, Quarius, and period basis as long as you don't fuck it up and do an absolutely stupid defense plan. Um, for those of you who aren't aware, Quarius is the key to holding Delve and period basis, not Delve, obviously. So as long as you actually attempt to defend Quarius, it's an incredible fortress. It really is. If there's one thing we learned, it's that you cannot reasonably invade Quarius or period bases through the 49U or TCAG gate. Um, so, and you can't really do it through the ZXB Y2 Anno gate either. So there's really only one approach point on those regions. Clearly, with the way CCP is going with the economy and bounty redistribution and all these mechanics, which we've been bitching about, 3 regions is not enough for the entirety of Legacy. Well, 4 with Fountain included. So there's a reason we're not giving up our space. We don't want to give up any space. We took it, we own it. But also, we need the space to make sure that everyone has enough ratting and mining and all that. We've become pretty adept at dual staging, with jump clone stagings and everything. And we have some plans on how to manage both sides. We'll call it the west side and the east side of that 49U 407 TCAG G Magic divide. We're not going to announce those today specifically because they're still in the works a little bit, and obviously there's still some game mechanics changes between now and the end of the war that CCP will throw on us without warning. But we are pretty confident that we can hold both with dual stagings. It's something we've become pretty good at. And we do intend to create a fortress in Delve, Quarius, and period bases that everybody is has a home in, that we can move most of our most critical and most vulnerable infrastructure into. We're going to want to do most of our super building in Delve, Quarius, and period basis, for example. Preferably all of it, actually, but we can get to that point. So we've got what we think is a pretty good plan for the future. We think we've learned the lessons we need to learn from this war to kind of be ahead of the meta, as we always have with Legacy. We've been having a lot of success these last 4 or 5 years. We've pretty much won every war we've been in. Well, we have actually. The only one Tess lost is the one that was before Legacy. So, we've been, I think, pretty ahead of the curve as far as seeing which direction the game is going and understanding the meta and putting ourselves in a position for success. And I think that's something we're going to continue to do with this plan that we agreed to yesterday as a coalition leadership. And over the next couple of months, we will start shifting towards that. It's pretty. It's just something to look forward to. So yeah, that's pretty much enough talking here. Let's see if we can get this move up out of the way. What we're going to do now is we'll start putting some fleets up out of T5ZI for Legacy test. We're going to switch to test comms for you guys. All test pilots will be moving ships from Esoteria. For anyone listening in either Legacy or test, if you don't have ships to move, if you're a Legacy pilot and you already moved your immune into GE, then you're good to go. I would say sit on comms. Don't sit in fleets. Don't take up fleet spots, but sit on comms because we may need to flash form out of GE, depending on what happens. Test pilot, same thing. If you don't have a ship to move, or et cetera, just sit on comms for a bit. Make sure everything's sorted out. For Legacy pilots, and this goes for Legacy only. Test, we're moving all of our Esoteria caps. In fact, I'm going to hand it over to Test FCs to start talking shortly. In fact, let's do that right now. Let me shut up for a second and let's put the comms up. So we're going to talk on command for a little bit and get all these fleets sorted, and then I'll tell you which fleets to join.